Hello students, I welcome you all. This is Mr. Joseph Reddy and Unit 3 deals with human relations. Now let us have a short introduction about what are human relations, what type of human relations we should have, and why is it important to have human relations. We'll see in short, then we will enter into the lesson. Here the term human relations and basically talks about or refers about the interaction of people in all walks of life at different places, like in schools, in colleges, homes, business, government and so on. At every place where we have our interaction with the other people. So this is what we call it as human relations. And if you come here, human relations is the art of getting along with people either as individuals or as a group. One individual with the other individual, one individual with the group, one group with the other group, so on. So here human relations deals with in a multiple way. So here maybe an individual or a group, how they go ahead, the art of getting along with the people is known to be as human relations. And here good human relations are an effective instrument to motivate the personnel towards the achievement of an individual. If you are supposed to achieve something, if you are supposed to get success, our human relations should be proper. As our human relations are proper, then we start getting everything on our way. If our relation with our own self and with the others is not good, then definitely we are not going to benefit anything from it. So thus, if you want to be successful, our relations also should be healthy. So in this particular unit, the government is trying to bring to the students about the human relations and their importance. And nowadays, the human relations are slowly degrading in the society. As people become old, they are being degraded, they are being ill-treated in the society. So if you look into the textbook, the first page shows that an old man sitting there and looking at the children being alone. So this is what is the picture here. And human relations, how they are supposed to be, with whom we are supposed to be there. So human relation with one's own self. First we should have good human relation with our own self. We have to understand ourselves, we have to understand our own strengths, our own weaknesses, where we are strong, where we are weak, where we have to improve. There are certain things what we are supposed to remove from our own self. So the relation with our own self. Next, the relation with our own members of the family. So we should have good relation with the family members, and the members of the family, if we have good relationship, we develop a kind of healthy atmosphere, and the same atmosphere will be continued even when we go out. We cultivate all the good habits. And here family is the basic unit of the society. If our relation is good in the family, then the relation will be also good at all the places. And then our human relation with the society, because human being is a social being, so we should be with the society. So we are not alone. So we are not in the desert, we are in the society. So our relation should be good with the society. And next, as you continue, human relations covers all type of interactions among people, their conflicts, their cooperative efforts and group relationships. So here we have their conflicts. So when we are in the society, all people won't be in the same way. If you look at the hand, all the 5 fingers of the hand are not same. So in the same way, we have different kinds of people in the society. So we do have understanding problems, we do have conflicts. And here, cooperative efforts. So being in the society, we have to go cooperating with each other, understanding with each other. And then group relationships. As I told you, how the group relationships should be there, they should be in the same way. So this is what generally we understand about human relationships, and that is what the government is asking us to understand about human relations and then continue in the society, so in that way. So this is what about the human relations. Now we enter into the lesson. Unit 3, reading A, the journey. So this is reading A in Unit A. Here we are going to look at the story which creates a kind of silent ambience, which is mostly psychological in nature. Psychological, the moment you understand, which is related to our mind. Here, this particular story, it is very silently going ahead, moving ahead with some psychological feeling, psychological nature. So, what is that psychological nature? What is that silent ambience? Let us look at this particular lesson. The reader feels that each individual, so here there are two individuals, the father and the son. They are depicting or showing or symbols of two opposite natures, and here they are talking to their own self, and they are the representatives of two opposite directions. Now here their behavior brings out so much that is not expressed orally. Here we have two kinds of communications. One is verbal communication, which we communicate through our speaking, and the other one is non-verbal communication, where we just show signs, symbols and everything. Here if you look at, this is not communicated orally, but their actions suggest what would be the thoughts of the father and his son. When you look at a person, if smile, you understand, yes, person is happy, sad. Like that, when you look at the feelings or when you look at the face or the way the person moves, we understand, though the person doesn't let out the feelings, but the inner feeling is depicted in the language of the body of the person. So in that way, so you just understand here and their behavior. So here the father is confident and the son is defiant, and feels that his education had made him so. Now here the father was very confident. He never feels of anything disappointed or degraded or anything else, whereas the son feels that his education had made him to avoid the physical labor. See here, the dignity of labor doesn't depend upon the education that we have. If you look at the foreign countries, the managers and all people, those who are in good position also clean their own surroundings. But mostly in our own country, we feel the labor, the dignity of labor so much that we don't even do our work. We wait for someone to come and then do that work. So this is what we generally feel, and the son also feels the same. And here his education and his white collar job made him to think so. And then at the end of the story, the son and the father start traveling to two opposite directions, two different directions, in two opposite directions, symbolizing their ways of life. As I told you, they represented two opposite things. And here the father and the son, at the end of the lesson, they start going in two opposite directions, showing two ways of life. And now let us look into the summary and then find out what is the lesson, why their life is in two opposite directions, what has happened in the lesson, and that everything, the details, we are going to get it now. See here, as we go ahead with the lesson, we also understand how something is there. Now if you look at the journey is an excellent piece of work written by Yeshe Dorjee Thongchi is the writer, and he is a prominent Assamese writer. He has written in Assamese, and this particular piece which was written in Assamese was translated into English by a person called D.P. Nath. This person called D.P. Nath has translated this piece of Assamese work into English, and this particular lesson, the journey, is written in such a way in order to bring out the ways of life of the people. Though we are very near to our own near ones, beloved ones, but we are least concerned or bothered about their own problems, their own struggles. Though we are side by side, we don't really recognize, we don't really realize the problems that the other person is facing. So though we are near, we are very far in our understanding. That's what this lesson basically talks about. The other was a government official, and he came to his village to get married, and his parents had arranged his marriage according to the customs of their tribal society. So each society has got its own customs, traditions, and according to it the marriages keep taking place, and we can't question the customs and traditions of one's society. It has been continued from ages together from their ancestors. So according to the customs of their tribal society, his marriage took place, and after spending 6 months at home, he was about to return to his workplace. Almost after getting married for 6 months, he was at home, and he was about to return to his workplace. But he didn't want to leave his newly wed wife behind. Now here, this particular person, since he was newly married, he did not want to leave his wife and then go away from his house. But what happened? But his responsibilities pushed him to leave. Maybe the responsibilities that he had, because maybe he was newly married and he had expenses, or he might have spent a lot of money on his marriage. And not only that, since he did not work for 6 months and he did not get his salary, maybe whatever might be the reasons behind, so he wanted to leave to his workplace, though he was unwilling to. Forcefully he was to leave. And then what happened? Here, if you look at this particular author in Assam, if you look at, so there are so many hilly areas. And here, because Assam is just very in the Himalayas, so there are so many hilly terrains. Here, their village was in a hilly area with no motorable roads. No motorable roads means here the vehicles cannot travel. Only human beings can walk in that rocks and go. And there are no roads where the vehicles can travel. So this is the meaning of no motorable roads. So that is why, since there were no vehicles to move, the author always prefers to carry less luggage. He carried very less luggage so that he can carry and walk in that hilly area. So here, now his problem was that he needed someone to carry his luggage, because his upbringing had made him avoid physical labor. As I already told you in my introduction, this person is a government official, and his upbringing, as he was growing, maybe his parents never allowed him to carry luggage. They never exposed him to physical labor. So he was not habituated to the physical labor. So he started avoiding physical labor. He was not used to the physical labor. So because of his upbringing, he started avoiding physical labor here. And as most of the villagers were busy in the fields, he couldn't even find one who could help him carry the trunk to the bus stop. And here almost this particular time around June, July and so on, in the villages if you see, it is all rainy season, monsoon season, where they start cultivating so many things. So it was problematic for him to get the people, because generally this time they are very busy, the farmers are very busy in cultivating and they don't get the time to go anywhere, they can't disturb their busy schedule. So at this particular moment he did not get anyone to see him at Dirang. So he did not get anyone to carry his luggage, and eventually the writer's father told him he would see him in Dirang. So at last, after so much of discussion, after so much of problem, after so much of things that happened, so his father at last, the writer's father came up with a solution, saying that I would see you off at Dirang. I will come along with you, I will carry your luggage, he said. He didn't want to allow his old father to carry his trunk. So he did not want his father to really carry his trunk. So, but his father decided to take the trunk to the bus stop. Though he did not want to allow his father to carry his trunk to the bus stop, but he did not have any other option. If he might have carried his own luggage, there might have been no problem. But this particular person, the author, the writer, did not want to carry his own luggage, because as I already told you, he wanted to avoid physical labor. So thus he did not want to carry his own luggage. So at last his father came up with a decision, and he decided to see him to take to Dirang. So this is what happened.